Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is September 26, 2023, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the euro and the Japanese yen both slide versus the dollar. But first, looking at today's major economic events. So out of the United States at 4 p.m. South African time, we have a big CB, consumer confidence number coming out. Now looking at the various markets going into this number, starting out with the Forex symbols, the US dollar strengthens, but specifically against the euro and the Japanese yen. Now looking at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ trading on their support level at the bottom of the range. Now when we're looking at commodities, gold and oil retrace, and as we look at the stocks going into today's session, and remember, next month is corporate earnings season, we're seeing the stocks trading very weak. Now, lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go, starting with the Euro USD, and you can see it's trading at 105.82, and it did retrace and break that support level at 160.80ish level, and that is really the point where we're heading next, is really 105.40ish level, which is a further down support. You can see that further down. Now, this is really important because we mentioned this once before. I want to backtrack just for a second for us to see this. One, we broke the 110-ish level where we had the crossover between the 8-day and the 30-day moving average, and that was clear that it was getting weaker. So 110 to 105 and trading it and shorting it on the way side was really a layup of a trade. Very simple trade, very simple, very nice way to make some money there. And jumping into the Japanese yen, also trading on its lows, yearly lows, 149. Remember, if you look at a weekly, we're right there, okay, and our all-time lows. So this is really happening in real time as well. Now jumping into the GBP USD, also retracing versus the US dollar. The US dollar really getting stronger almost across the board as it's strengthening, as the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both getting weaker. Okay, now if we do look at that before jumping into commodities, you can see that quite clearly. The NASDAQ on a daily is trading on supportish level with 14,838. And if we look at the Dow Jones, and remember, this is a weekly chart. We have tested this low back in August. If we look at a daily chart, you can see a little bit clearer. We tested this back in August. But will it get that spurred next month? Maybe we'll get some positive news out of the corporate earnings next month. So that's something to possibly look forward to, okay? But this is something that is still developing. And if it does break this area, okay, today's going to be a very important day, because if it does break this area, it means it can go back down to that 33,000, which would be about 2,500 points from our all-time highs for this year, okay, which is a decent retracement. Now jumping in commodities, gold retracing here to 1912. Nothing really serious, besides the fact that it sold off with some decent volume, 1925 down to 1916ish level. That might perk my attention, because remember, this has been really flatlined for a long time. But if it does start selling off with increased momentum, with increased volume, then I'm going to start saying, hey, maybe this is getting weaker. Now, looking at crude oil, also took a little bit of a dip to 88.71. We toppled at that 91ish level, and that was previous resistance. So simple resistance and support plays here, okay, and lots of them happening. Now jumping into the individual stocks, okay, Apple weaker but trading sideways, maybe possibly waiting for next month, okay. ALCOA is trading much lower. This is a really important stock because remember, this is the stock that represents aluminum companies in the United States, metal companies in the United States, and it is selling lower, which means we may see a downtick in production. Now looking at Facebook, trading sideways. Okay, so the tech ones are trading sideways, but some of the conglomerates are selling lower. JP Morgan, which is a big bank, the biggest bank in the United States, trading sideways, not doing much. Okay, but as we look at two more stocks, okay, that I really want to highlight is both Amazon, which had a big, relatively big gap down, okay, and kind of like consolidating at this area, and so did CISCO. CISCO also had a gap down from $55 down to 53, and then just sticking around there. So the question is, will this fill the gap? Okay, now we're at the bottom of support, so there's some indication that we may bounce off of this area. However, can't celebrate that before that actually is solidified. So keep that in mind. Now, next month, again, like I mentioned, we're going into corporate season. So lots of things still happening when it comes to corporate season when we look at that. Lastly, looking at Bitcoin, really no big change here. Okay, just trading sideways. Not very tradable. Honestly, just stay away from it for now until it does come back to life. All right, this is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.